let's rank the top 10 worst movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Number 10, Iron Man 3. As great as Robert Downey Jr. was, the film is filled with inconsistencies, especially when it comes to the Mandarin. While it was a huge improvement over Iron Man 2, there are still plenty of moments that you wish they would have put more thought and effort behind. Number 9, Thor. When you go back and watch this version of Thor, it feels like a different character than the one we know today. There are definitely moments worth re-watching, especially between Thor and Loki, but overall it doesn't meet the potential it should have. The subplot love story feels rushed and underdeveloped, but if you love sci-fi chick flicks, then this is the one for you. Number 8, Iron Man 2. Critics have named this film disjointed, cluttered, and lazy, and they aren't wrong. Its attempt to introduce multiple new characters and lay the groundwork for the broader Marvel universe detracts from Iron Man's own story, and the antagonist, Whiplash, lacks the depth and menace needed to create a memorable villain. These factors, along with a sense of predictability, contribute to the general consensus that Iron Man 2 falls far short of the original. Number 7, Ant-Man and the Wasp. The biggest issue with this film is the lack of stakes. If this film never happened, would anything else in the universe really have changed? Ghost had potential to be an intriguing villain, yet she failed to evoke a sense of real threat. The comedic elements, while sometimes funny, often overshadowed the potential for depth. Number 6, The Incredible Hulk. Out of all the movies in the MCU, I've watched this one least. When you need to recast the main character after his own solo movie, there is much to be desired. While it was better than the Hulk we saw in 2003, it still leaves room to hope that a true, well-written solo Hulk film is coming soon. Number 5, Thor: Love and Thunder. This movie is what happens when a director is given too much leash. Unfortunately, this film feels like one continuous joke that falls flat. No matter how likable each character in this film the writer and director just went overboard on all the things that made Ragnarok great, and their box office numbers paid the price from it. As a fan who had high hopes for this film, it hurts to put it on this list. Number 4, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It starts on a good note, but as it goes on, you quickly become disinterested and want to check your watch in the theatre. There are some writing decisions in here that should not have made it past editing. This movie not only suffers from terrible CGI, but an awful plot as well. This movie was the nail in the coffin for many who are starting to question the future of the Marvel Universe. Number 3, Thor: The Dark World. Aside from the character building of Loki, this film isn't worth your rewatch. The biggest issue with this film is that it's boring. It lacks the stakes, and the story and the script needed to be next level. Many critics consider this to be the worst film in the MCU, but there are still 2 more that fall below. Number 2, Eternals. Very different than every other film, and not in a good way. A movie filled with a dozen new characters that you forget, and a backstory so large in scale that you don't believe it. While Avengers: Infinity War had a compelling thread of dozens of character moments, this film was a jumbled mess without structure. Where were the Eternals when Thanos destroyed everything? Number 1, Captain Marvel. As much of a shock to some of you this may be, it's actually pretty simple. This film created the most unlikable character in the entire universe. You want to like Carol Danvers, yet the writing and acting gives you plenty of moments to do the opposite. While we were led to believe the Skrulls were the enemy of the film, it felt easier to root for them than our main character herself. On a far more positive note, check out our list of the top 10 best movies in the MCU here. You'll be shocked to see what number 3 is.